Hey everyone, welcome back to BrickVault. This is Mike and this is Top 10 MOCs, the weekly episode where I show my favorite custom LEGO creations I found on the internet. We're gonna have some big ships this week as September came to a close. And of course, as always, you can submit your fan MOCs that I'm showing at the end of the episode every week. There's a link in the description if you wanna submit your MOC, everything should be there. Thomas Jenkins redesigned the Arc 170 Starfighter to be even better of a MOC on our web store at brickvault.toys. You can now get the instructions on a pre-sale for 30% off before the model comes out in a couple of weeks. In case you would like to understand the quality of this upcoming Arc 170 MOC, Thomas also designed the gunship model that we presented not that long ago. It's an incredible MOC, so you can expect about the same level of quality and design. Alright, on to the MOCs. With number 10 this week with Isaac W with the Harley-Davidson Road King motorcycle. You would think that such a legendary bike like the Harley-Davidson Road King would be difficult to pull off at such a scale, but yet Isaac proved us wrong here. There's some fantastic piece usage like the droid arm for the front fork. Somehow these tiny wheels work so great for this model. We have the silver skate piece for some engine details. There's also plenty of goodness in the back of the bike, somehow covered by other bricks, but you can just feel the sheer brilliance of this model and the connections made. Minifigure hands for handlebars, but I don't think this model can actually fit a minifigure. But if anything, you gotta admit that this is small scale LEGO building at its finest. Last, I highly recommend checking out other Isaac's vehicles because they will actually blow your mind with the shaping. On number 9 we have somewhat of a creepy, bizarre, but also funny MOC by Gregory Coquelz, aka Yatku, Ring-Tailed Lemurs. Now for sure that ain't no King Julian, but the lemurs are quite recognizable instantly. Gotta comment the build for the tails, which I believe is a bendy piece with a bunch of 1x1 studs stuck together. The brick build faces are the creepy part, but they work quite well considering this is not a print or anything, just brick build stuff, and overall the creatures provide quite a bit of contrast on this kind of a barren landscape. But it is what makes this MOC so much fun to look at. There's just enough detail that you recognize the landscape, but also kind of feel that minimalistic approach that creates an overall very pleasant effect. I like the simple tree in the back, built by mostly Technic pieces and some foliage, with just the long brown serpent pieces to add some extra detail, that's it. So as some of the comments said, quite a harrowing stare from the lemurs, but the MOC overall does have that some kind of a mojo that makes it very appreciated. Speaking of other weird things, at number 8 we have Jayfa with Draconis Amanita, a build commemorating the Year of the Dragon. That is a highly creative design. Jayfa is known for this, it's not the first. I'm kind of baffled by the design of the creature. You gotta love the body looking like a bunch of tree roots, kind of just twisted and bent together. The little mushrooms growing out of it here and there are both eerie and amazing. It's all finished in quite an expressive tail. Pretty cool use of those pipe pieces for all the legs of the creature, as well as the 3 necks. Plus the necks are finished in those tan foliage pieces, which is pretty cool. If you kinda zoom out and look at the general picture, the MOC doesn't use many bricks to be honest, but it's using all the shapes in quite a brilliant manner. And I love the entire contrast of red, tan, white, brown, sand green even, and just now I spotted the wheel well pieces at the joints of the legs. Pretty brilliant. So fantastic NPU, fantastic creativity, well done Jayfa yet again. Number 7 is Mandrill's Head by FOXduFutur. Now this one wins quite a few weeks in the category of brick build faces, right? The piece usage is incredible, and I just could imagine how much time it took to align all those foliage pieces in this reddish brown to create the iconic fur around the face. The wing pieces for the beard are superb as well, and the brick built eyes with the large golden flower along with some tendrils of wood. I would like to ask, how do you even come up with that? That's brilliant. So you would say Rafiki from Lion King would approve totally of this MOC, and I approve as well. Well done, deserves a spot in this week's top 10. With number 6 we have quite a rare location or interior MOC titled Blue Screen by Loïc Gilbert, and even if that's a render or not, I kind of couldn't tell because of the perfect lighting used in this picture. Could be also a very good picture. This really gives me either the game Control vibes, that brutalistic interior, some old bunker from Captain America, or perhaps the TVA from Loki. Anyway, there's a whole story behind it, so go check out the link below to read it through. I gotta commend the simple design and scene creation here. The lamp is great, the whole desk is amazing. There is driplets of water on the desk flowing from the monitor, that's part of the story. Gotta love the classic fishes, I think Windows 95 was it? Screensaver, I think that's the nod to it. All these boxes of tapes and rows of old dusty files. This is by far one of the finest examples of scene building and interior design I've seen in LEGO in quite a few weeks. Sure, I'm leaning towards the fact that this is mostly a render and plus some editing involved, for example thanks to the light of the lamp, but that also requires quite a bit of skill. So well done, fantastic composition, impressive design. I love really everything about it. With number 5 we're getting into a familiar and beloved territory of mine, the Horizon Zero Dawn. Gentle Giant Ship by Pierre Fieschi, and being this a September build, the ship stands for Saltwater Hydromanagement Iodization Platform. As Horizon robots go, this one represents a creature, and you just gotta love the entirety of the gribbling all around it. The tail is impressive in its own way, but the building of components around the body is something you could totally take out from the game. Usually I've seen people recreating the wonderful machines of the game, like the Thunderjaw that we have a mock of, or the Tallneck official Lego set, but I didn't really see people try to create new creatures based on that kind of design. So that's why this mock is to me so brilliant. Not only the designer took the time to really capture the Horizon's aesthetic, but also managed to do all these connections into somewhat palpable and believable design. Plus, if the photography is not rendering, which I don't think it is a quite skillful set of pictures, I gotta commend that. Well done. Number 4. You would think I would post this episode without a giant ship for September in it? Here it is from Michael Thomas, the ACC 312 Cargo Transport Esperon Express. There is something so cool about it. Is it the industrial design, that it's not fully like sleek and cool looking sci-fi thing, but more like a workhorse thinking right here? Really cool design for the container assembly and attachments. I like that it seems to be an open space industrial workhorse design. You can see astronauts working on it here and there, so it may be somehow of a semi-autonomous barge, if you will. I believe the Technic design here is sticking out on purpose, so it does feel like more of a mechanical design. And there's also a pretty cool hydraulic mechanism for the legs that make them fold and get aligned with the body of the ship. September builds always blow me away in their creativity, different design approaches. People go either sleek or people go more industrial, and it's all kind of just a celebration of community's commitment to create the coolest sci-fi Lego possible. Plus, you can also tell that he uses a lot of older bricks, so this all also gives a heavy classic space vibes. With number 3, yet another September, and that's a ship with a capital S. Now, if you played Homeworld Cataclysm, remember that expansion to the Great Homeworld game? This is kind of what I'm getting from it. Or maybe some Mass Effect vibes with a giant alien over-menacing the population. Anyways, this is the Malefactor by Scott Wilhelm, ship with 180 studs of length. The sheer size of the red carapace is simply staggering. Then there is the giant black underbody with tons of attachments, mechanical details, weaponry, whatnot, tentacles sticking out in the front, which makes it even more menacing, a full bag that seems to be housing some hangar bays, some cargo pods or whatnot, engines as well, and also a lot of these biomechanical details that make it look like a giant space bug are hidden around the head area. That is just something that as humanity I would not like to detect in our orbital space anytime soon, honestly. And that's also another example of the creativity I mentioned in the previous mock, with the designers going extra length to create something like this. Biomechanical ships are not very often seen. Super cool, and the amount of effort behind this must have been absolutely tremendous. Alright, we're gonna move away a little bit from sci-fi in the first 2 spots. With number 2 we have Kit Nugent with the mock titled "And We Meet Back Under the Bridge Afterwards." Now pause for a second and tell me that this is Lego, right? You can't tell really. I mean, you can spot some studs on the roof and around the walls here and there, but overall this mostly feels like a clay sculpted diorama. The roof with the mixed Nexonite shields and normal tiles is kind of a technique I did not expect to look so good actually. There is some great angling involved for the walls of that inn on whatever that building is. Unfortunately we don't get to see the back of it, which I would absolutely love to, because the amount of detail in the front scene is kind of telling the story already. Keep in mind also that an oval design like this, it's not easy to pull off. People usually go for square dioramas or something more rectangular, but in this case going oval like this is an extra level of mastery. The stone wall can deceive you also in the simplicity, because it is actually using quite a few types of bricks like ingot styles and even Thor's hammers. The gate archways and the doorways are brilliant in its own way, and overall I would love to know more, honestly. One picture doesn't give it justice. That's one of those MOCs I would just love to see in person and inspect in full detail on some sort of a convention. And with number 1, we're also keeping it historical, Barthezz brick, coming in hot with the Assassin's Creed Venice 1486 Interlude. Now if I went into every piece of detail of this MOC, I would probably spend the next 20 minutes on top of the already long runtime of this episode, so I will just tell you, click the link below and check out all the details for yourself, because those are some great pictures. Not only we have some brilliant water design that I don't see quite often, it's a very irregular, naturally looking MOC, with water just being a bunch of stacked blue pieces around the entire area, which is super cool. There is just a lovely street in front of that cathedral, with insane designs for some of the pavements, especially around that fountain. Some lampposts and foliage growing on the buildings add to the organic feel of the scene. There's a fantastic tree on the right side. I mean, how many pieces is that? This is some great design. Below that there is some sort of symmetry, a beautifully arched bridge right next to it, which is a very key to Venice, right? You can see some gondolas and plenty of activity in the water as well. Moving back again to the fountain area, you can see some of the amazing facade designs for the cathedral. Of course, we have the Assassin's Creed's character on the rooftops, because where else could they be? And the dock area with some merchants, some merchandise moving around on the left side with the boat. Can be honestly a MOC on its own. The designer says that they did this all in about 1.5 months, which for me is express speed. And honestly, as I said, I would blabber about this for the next quite a few minutes, but check out the link below. There's quite a few pictures provided by the designer, so feast your eyes on this beautiful MOC. Well deserved the number 1 spot, don't you think? Alright, honorable mentions we have plenty as every episode, as you know by now. We have SweStar with Ma.Ktober 24 build with the Golden Ring mech. You wouldn't expect to see the Frodo's Golden Ring in that capacity. Karf Oohlu Lite with AT-Cutey, well done, I see what you did there. Ciamosław Ciamek, Polish designer with the Eldoradito Fortress, a smaller version of the beloved set. Pomocnik and Dirigent, which I believe are Czech builders, because this is the Praska Miejska Pojistowna, I hope I didn't butcher the Czech language here, beautiful building in the heart of Prague. Joel Bloomfield coming in with the British Rail Class A4, a beautiful locomotive. Ian with the Guardian and the Protector, a maniacal guardian of the forest, pretty cool concept honestly. Stentie with Painted Red, a monochrome building MOC, quite creative. Lavish Lamp with Ice Fairy of the Lake. Kuya with LEGO Star Wars 3D poster series of the Rebel Alliance. Stentie yet again with an ongoing series of Mandalorian small dioramas representing tons and tons of scenes from the show. Camille M with the LEGO Underwater Robot Explorer. LEGO Phantom Works with the Mitsubishi F2A Viper Zero, I believe that's the Chinese version of the F-16. Rich Albanese with the Luminous Star Weaver, pretty cool concept of a spaceship. Peter Blacker with the 1969 Mustang from John Wick. Adam Chifra with a beautiful design for the MH-60L Pavehawk helicopter, and Sam Bryan with the LEGO Chainsaw Man. Nicely done. And here are your fan MOCs for this week. As always, you can submit more for next week. There's a link below. I always appreciate your submissions, so don't be afraid, don't be shy, send your MOC. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let me know which one was your favorite. And there's gonna be some links on the screen if you would like to see some previous top 10 MOCs in case you missed them. Thanks so much for watching. It was Mike, and I'll see you next time here on Breakvolt.